Welcome to Wine Australia's new video series Reading Between the Vines, where you'll learn about a variety of agricultural technologies to assist in the winemaking process. In this series, you'll hear from grape growers and winemakers firsthand their experience using agtech, the types of technologies they're deploying and how these are driving better outcomes. So, let's jump in. So welcome, we're here today with Nigel Blieschke from Torbreck, and we'll also hear from Tim Hyde from Swan Systems. Swan Systems have been supporting Torbreck with an integrated agtech solution, and I guess Nigel would love to hear from you about how that's gone, but before we do, a little bit about yourself, about Torbreck and the history and the philosophy of your winemaking.
So Torbreck was established to try and create some of the great Rhone wines of the world. We work with a lot of really old vineyards here in the Barossa. So the aim is to produce the highest quality from these vineyards.
What's led you to connect with Swan Systems, and what was the challenge that you were looking to overcome?
Relatively new to Torbreck. I started in 2015, and we had the vineyard that we're on here today, the Descendant Vineyard, is around 20 hectares, 50 acres. And when I got here, there was quite a bit of variability in the growth of the vineyard. So one of the challenges we had some areas that would defoliate as the summer started, and there was a range of factors that were leading to this. So when I first started, I had a lot of time to really drill into what was causing the variability, and a lot of it came down to the soils and then therefore irrigation and the way the vines were growing. And so I was looking for some irrigation solutions that could help me with trying to bring uniformity to the vineyard.
So you have reliable access to water?
We're very lucky here in the Barossa. The Barossa infrastructure scheme is set up here, so we have reticulated water to pretty much all of our vineyards that are irrigated. So yeah, we've got good access to water, but I think the timing around when to put water on is the challenge in these, particularly on this western side of the Barossa where the soils are a little bit shallower, but they do vary. So some are deep, some are shallow, but within the same rope. Yeah. So there was that was a challenge for us.
Yeah, right. And you talked about integration being a fairly key factor in a solution like this too. So how easy was that to integrate, or is that something that Swan do for you?
Swan do a lot of that for us. We had an irrigation controller, which is an ICC Motorola system, which allows us to do everything from our phones and from computers. We had weather stations here, but Swan came in and basically linked in with all those systems.
Hi, Nigel and Dave. Great to be here today to talk about our work with Torbreck. Swan Systems evolved out of an agricultural consultancy business in 2016. Since then, we've expanded the team to have about 12 people across Australia. We help manage 20,000 hectares of irrigated crops. Our core offering involves pulling data from different pieces of technology across a vineyard and to help bring that together to make better and more accurate decisions around water management.
And so what does Swan do, and how do you use Swan to help you with your irrigation?
Okay, so Swan basically brings together all the information we had. So when I started, we installed soil moisture monitoring, which gives us an indication of the soil water holding. And so we had that sort of technology, but there's a lag between the soil running out of water and the vine going into water stress. So this vine tends to go into water stress before. So we'd improved our irrigation. We'd install an irrigation system that we can radio link all our valves. So we had that system, but Swan comes over the top and incorporates all of our weather stations, our soil moisture. Right. We also have access to satellite imagery, which I'd used in the past to understand the variability of the vineyard. So it links it all together, and under one system we can forecast our irrigation requirements, set a budget, and it really ties it together. And we can look at one system that really looks at all the inputs into our irrigation.
Have you been using it long enough now to see results, and where do you expect it to go?
Last year was our first year with the system, and we were feeling our way. This year We've added some new sensors, some actual temperature canopy sensors. But at the moment now we have a budget set up for the season. It's quite interesting. When I started talking with the guys from Swan, I said, you know what's going to happen if we install this system, after a few dry years it's going to rain. And of course it has rained. But we now have a very powerful tool which we can adapt to the climate. And I guess one of the things about growing great wine is about consistency. And when we have variability, we have some years that are great and then some years that weren't great. So what we're trying to do is even out that consistency and both of growth and of quality. So having a system where we can look at the past and predict and look at the future, we can make good decisions quickly. And with our seasons being so variable, a system like this allows us to not to do the same thing each year. We actually can adjust our management to suit the season. So this year it's quite wet, so we're probably going to use less irrigation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, for us, it's about getting it right every year. Or, you know, we hope we can get it right every year. We probably won't, but we get very close. So, you know, again, that's driving the quality of our wines, and what ultimately sells us our wines is the quality of them. So,
Fantastic, Nigel. That's awesome. Thanks so much for today.